But there are some very simple things, simple and effective things that you can do to improve your vitamin D. And I'm going to get into the ones that I practice on a regular basis to help me maintain better vitamin D levels. Before we jump into my tips for improving your vitamin D levels, let me jump into my disclaimer. I am not a medical professional. This video is simply me sharing my experience and things that I have done to improve my vitamin D. Also, always consult a medical professional or your medical professional before you incorporate any supplements or incorporate anything new into your journey. This video is for educational purposes only. Now, the way that you would know if you have low vitamin D is obviously if you were to go to the doctor, and usually if you go to a well women's visit or a physical, that's when they typically do the test to find out where your vitamin D levels are. Now, it would not surprise me if most of you watching this have low vitamin D or had a low vitamin D report at your last visit. According to the National Institute of Health, almost one in four Americans have low vitamin D. Now, that number is probably way higher if you are a melanated person, if you're a black person, a brown person. That number is probably a lot higher for you. And we'll get into more of why that is later in this video. Other signs that you might be experiencing vitamin D, if you have not had your levels checked, you may be but you suspect something is wrong. Some other symptoms include fatigue, muscle soreness or weakness, hair loss and scalp issues, poor sleep, brain fog and poor memory, a weak immune system, and even depression. But there are some very simple things, simple and effective things that you can do to improve your vitamin D. And I'm going to get into the ones that I practice on a regular basis to help me maintain better vitamin D levels. My first tip, or the first thing that I do, which is probably obvious, is I supplement. Now, everybody doesn't need to supplement for vitamin D, but like I said earlier, based on the statistic earlier, most people do. My personal favorite vitamin D supplement is it's called Biotic Research, and it is just some little D drops, but it's actually 10,000 IUs. So when I was extremely deficient, like one time I went to the doctor and I was extremely deficient, this is the one that I used, and it got me together. It got me all the way together. Like within a couple days of using it, I felt better. And so that's how I know that my vitamin D it was terrible, because I could just tell the difference within a few days of using this supplement. Now, I'm currently not using that one. I actually use a multivitamin by Ritual right now, and it does have vitamin D in it. Because the last time I went to the doctor, my levels weren't really low, so I just continue to use this multivitamin one, and that's enough for me, like as far as maintaining my health. So aside from supplementing, one of the big things that I like to do is incorporate oily fish into my diet at least a few times a week. And so I will I'm mainly like a salmon person, so I tend to eat salmon probably like 2 or 3 times a week. But you could do like smoked trout for breakfast, even smoked salmon for breakfast. Another fish that people swear by, but I just personally cannot get with the taste, is sardines. Not only are sardines high in vitamin D and other nutrients, they also are really cost effective. So that's another great option. Like if salmon If you don't have access to like wild caught salmon or any other wild fish, it's hard for you to get, or it's not financially accessible for you. Try sardines. You can use them the same way that you do salmon, like on top of salads, for breakfast, anything like that. Another food that people incorporate that's high in vitamin D is mushrooms. Personally, I'm just not a big mushroom person, but that is another food that it has been found to be high in vitamin D. So if you like mushrooms, add those into your diet as well. The third way that I improve my vitamin D is by getting sunlight. Now, I know that there are people who are like, wear sunscreen every day, all day. Personally, I don't wear sunscreen when I go out in the morning. Now, if you feel strongly about this, if you know, have people who have gotten who have developed skin cancer before, I understand your position. But for me personally, because I am a darker skinned person, and it is harder for me to get vitamin D from the sun, I personally do, when I go out in the morning for my morning walks, I do not wear sunscreen. And that's just so that the sun can hit my skin. But also getting that sunlight in the morning not only helps you to not only encourages your body to produce more vitamin D from the sun, but it also helps with your circadian rhythm. It also helps to wake you up in the morning. If you live in a place where you can get some sunlight and some fresh air in the morning, getting that sunlight can possibly make the difference in your vitamin D level. Another way that I improve my vitamin D levels is by getting more magnesium into my diet. Magnesium activates vitamin D. So it can also be helpful to, as you're increasing your vitamin D intake, to also make sure you're getting enough magnesium. So one of the ways that I do this is by having like a mocktail with magnesium in it. Sometimes I take a magnesium supplement, just incorporating it wherever you can get it. Eating foods that are high in magnesium, which are gonna be leafy greens, nuts, things like that, is also going to help with your vitamin D levels, or actually to activate your vitamin D so that your body can actually use the vitamin D that you're taking in. My last tip for improving your vitamin D levels is to keep the alcohol to a minimum, or just avoid it altogether. Just like with some of the other vitamins and minerals, alcohol can also be a hindrance to your body being able to absorb and use vitamin D as well. I feel like this video was super quick, but I hope that you guys found this information helpful. If you're someone that struggles with low vitamin D, I hope you found this video helpful. Even if you're not someone who struggles with low vitamin D, I hope that you learned something new from this video. And if so, drop it down in the comments and let me know, what you found most helpful here. And before you go, here's some other videos that are helpful as well.